you find yourself doing everything you can in your marriage to make it work, to bring about closeness, greater intimacy, and you find your partner still distancing from you? I'm Ryan Ginn, and I've been working with men and couples for over 15 years, helping them transform their relationships. There's a kind of stereotype out there that it's always the man that's the emotionally unavailable one, the one that's distancing and avoiding and not valuing closeness. It's not always the case. I've worked with plenty of men that desperately want closeness and read the books and listen to the YouTube videos and go to the men's groups, and they still find themselves really at a loss about how to create the kind of closeness and the kind of intimacy that they ache for. So today I want to go through various ways in which, if you're that man, you can become more successful at slowly moving the relationship towards the kind of relationship you truly want. But first, let's define what is emotional unavailability. Usually it's characterized by not starting conversations about the relationship itself, not initiating one-on-one time. Like, you want to go for a walk, it would be nice to talk about what's happening for you these days. It's certainly not initiating physical closeness often too, right? That there's a tendency to find too much physical contact to be a bit overwhelming or uncomfortable for them, so they'll also tend to avoid that. The other thing that's very common in the emotionally unavailable partner is that they focus on the activities, sort of solo activities that bring them a sense of security or some enjoyment, and not too much interpersonal stress. So the emotionally unavailable person, or we might also think of as the distancer, is much more inclined to seek self-regulation through individual activities. They have a difficult time finding their way to feeling regulated, calmed by interpersonal contact. So if this is kind of ringing a bell and feeling validating to you and your experience, keep watching, because I have some great ideas about how to shift this. Because I know you've tried a lot, and yet probably a lot of what you've tried has actually made it worse. The first thing is to see their distancing as not about you. It's something they learn to do from an early age because their relationships weren't super safe on an emotional level. They couldn't go towards their primary caregivers with whatever emotional experience they were having and be confident that they could have that be met with the right level of attunement. Not over-fixing it, not dismissing it, certainly not shaming it. So they tended to just start to avoid going towards their parents, which is the natural reflex for any child, right? It's much easier, it's much more effective to go to another to help with your distress than it is to try to deal with it on your own. So they had to have reached some conclusion at some point that, that's not safe. And so then they started to develop a bunch of often very amazing skills and capacities. Maybe it's through art, through, making music, just enjoying the natural world, many different kinds of adaptations. Again, back to the main point here is that all of that is not about you. They're not really distancing from you, although of course it feels that way. They're distancing because just generally interpersonal relationships are stressful for them. That is the refrain that I want to invite you to start to have in your mind. See their actual reality versus superimposing this story that they don't love me or care about me or want to connect with me. So after that's established and they actually feel from you that you understand, how do you talk about what would actually feel not stressful and yet relational for them? It's like opening up this conversation. And everybody's so unique. So it's a conversation that you may not have actually really had before with true curiosity. Most men that are with emotionally unavailable partners tend to just go right at like, I want more from, I want to be closer with you. I want us to have more sex. I want us to have more time together. And they just kind of go right at it. And that drives the emotionally unavailable partner away. So this is a really different kind of conversation. It's a conversation that starts with, yeah, I want to feel closer to you, but I realize that I've been pressuring you a lot. I've been putting my needs at the forefront, and that has made it difficult for you, I imagine, to actually share with me, like, what would feel good for you in terms of time spent together. So I want to just have an open conversation where I can learn, like, what does work for you. Does it feel good for us to you to play cards? Does it feel good to play tennis? I just want to know. I want to know what feels good to you that doesn't feel too like it's too much pressure, like it doesn't feel like it's a burden, that it actually feels something like you'd want to do. And that puts them in the seat of like, maybe no one has actually asked that question in a truly curious way. Because emotionally unavailable people have a long history of having to comply to the expectations of others. So they have a built-in kind of like distrust of whether they can actually advocate for their needs or express them and have them be, worked with. So you're really, what I'm talking about is a very deep and potentially healing experience for them in terms of having somebody say, I have no expectations, I have no agenda here. I just want to spend time with you. I mean, maybe I have that agenda, but it doesn't have to look any particular way. I want it to feel good to you. Most emotionally unavailable people will respond well to that. They might have some part of them that's like, really? Are you sure? Because I have this whole bunch of memories about you not being genuinely curious and genuinely wanting to know what I really wanted, how I really want to do activities to get with you. So it might take some perseverance and you continuing to like anchor into the truth that you do want to know what will work for them. You may have to really work to set aside this part of you that understandably has his own ideas and pictures and visions of like what closeness might look like. What I'm really talking about is ushering in a repair process, right? Because there's likely years of pressure and then further distancing. We're trying to walk that back. You're establishing actually table stakes for the relationships in terms of like, I will not pressure you, but I will hold to the vision of us feeling close and connected. And I have no idea what that looks like. I just know it's important for us. If this video is helpful for you, please share it and subscribe. And if you want to dive deeper into this work, there's a free course for you, and it's below in the comments. And I really appreciate you watching.